Hi, hello, welcome to another cruise craft video. My name is Ashley. I live in Chicago with my two dogs, navigating life in my 30s. I make a lot of Disney content, some sewing vlogs, what else do I make? Some slice of life, some antiquing, some thrifting. If any of that interests you, feel free to subscribe. I'd love to have you. But why are we here today? For cruise crafts. I'm going on another cruise. I went on my first cruise, on my first Disney cruise a couple months ago with my friend Perla, and I made some crafts for that. If you haven't seen that, feel free to go back and watch that. I'll try to link it somewhere. But I made a couple of things for that cruise, and I have a couple of things to make for this cruise. It is a Very Merrytime cruise, and so I want to make some Christmas related things. I also have a shirt to hem and some Pixie Dust things to do. And so I'm hoping that you stick around for that. This is a little bit about the cruise. This is something my mom and I are doing. We're leaving out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and we will be going to Lighthouse Point. We will be going to Nassau, Bahamas, even though we won't be getting off the ship there. We're still going there. Nassau, Bahamas, and it's a 3-night, 4-day cruise. It's a really quick cruise, but I have some crafts that I want to make. Namely, I want to make some garland for our door. I want to make some garland for the little mini Christmas tree that I'm bringing. Well, it's not that mini, it's like this mini Christmas tree that I'm making. I have a shirt to hem. I have some pixie dusting things to do and to work on. So if any of that interests you, stick around. We'll have some fun. Okay, let's jump into the first cruise craft. Here we go. Hi, hello. It's a little while later, and I'm going to start on a cruise craft, a Christmas cruise craft. I've not done this before, but I think I can figure it out. It's this cool, I'll show you. It's this cool Christmas garland I found on Pinterest that kind of looks like ribbon candy. And I'm gonna make a version of this. I wanna make it miniature and small. And oddly enough, I had this pack of felt that I purchased in all different colors. It's mini felt, so I'm gonna make mini candy ribbons. And then I have a bunch of these pom-poms that I'm going to use, and I have these pom-poms. So we have a bunch of like little pom-poms to use. I don't have any beads, and then I have leftover tassels from when I made the garland from my last cruise. I have these tassels that I made that I'll put on the end. I've got some leftover green and red felt to make different styles. I've not done this before, like I mentioned, so I'm kind of winging it. I didn't find a tutorial, but I did find another ribbon making, candy ribbon making tutorial, and they recommended using glue guns, but I don't have any glue sticks. I ran out and I don't feel like running to the store just for glue sticks. So I'm going to use tacky all-purpose glue, fabric glue. So I'm going to use this. Pro tip, to keep it from drying out, because I lost the lid, I just put a piece of plastic between the lid and the bottle, and then I remove this when I'm ready to use it. So I want to make some like peppermint style circles, and then I want to make candy ribbons and then string this all up. So I think today what I'm going to focus on is making the, what are these, peppermint ones, and then start to play around with making the candy ribbons. I hope this comes out well, and I just want to make mini ones, like nothing crazy to hang across the door. So we'll see how this turns out. So let me bring you along with this. Yay. We'll see how well this turns out. look at the little peppermint. So what I'm gonna do is put a piece of glue here and tack it down. And then to make sure that it doesn't come undone while it dries, I'm just gonna use a rubber band and wrap it around it to hold it in place. Now I'm gonna make a couple more of these. I finished making them with all the leftover red and green fabric that I had. I alternated which one was on the outside, which one's on the inside, and I'm going to let these dry. I ended up not needing the rubber bands because they stuck pretty well. So I'm gonna let those dry, and now I'm gonna start on the ribbon candies. For the ribbon candies, I want to put colors that are similar together, so it's like a subtle ribbon candy. So what I'm going to do first is open the package, and then I'm going to cut probably like an inch width and then maybe one smaller of each of these to create the thickness of the ribbon candy that I want. And then I'll glue it together as I fold and go. So let's start working on these. And then I might need the rubber bands to keep these together. We'll see, but that's the plan. That's the goal. Okay, scratch this idea. This is really thick. I thought it was like the floppy, what do you call it? Floppy felt, like the one I made the things with. So I'm gonna have to get new felt, but I had an idea to still use this to create something or to create texture for this. So I think I'm gonna cut this in strips and then in half, and then just like layer it on top of one another to create like little poofs maybe. No, I don't like that. We're scrapping this idea. So I will check back in when I have more felt. This is all part of the learning process of making something for the first time. That's okay. I'm okay with that. I think what I will do is maybe pull out some, no, I'm not even gonna get started. I was gonna say pull out some of the pom-poms that I wanna use, but I don't think that even makes sense because I'm gonna have to like store those separately. So I think we're gonna call it quits for today. And I will check back in once I have some softer felt. I'll run to Michael's, RIP Joanne, and we'll go from there. Okay, sorry this was uneventful. Maybe what I can do now that I'm thinking about it is make little wreaths. So cut out a circle and then glue pom-poms on here, because I have these like itty bitty ones. I have these cute little itty bitty ones, and then I can make a little, I think I'm just overcomplicating this. We don't need little wreaths. We don't. Okay. Well, I'm bummed. I was really looking forward to doing crafts today. Oh well, next time. Okay, I'll check back in with you when I have all my craft stuff ready to go. Bye. Hello friends, hi. I decided to use what I have. So I have a couple of pieces of felt here in different colors, and then I found in my ribbon bin some ribbon that I can use to decorate the felt. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna use that instead of going out and buying new felt. So what I'm gonna do now is cut up the felt into little pieces, and they're like little ribbons, and then what am I gonna do? And then attach the different color ribbons to it, just to give it some like stripies on it to look more like the ribbon candy. So let's do that. this a couple more times. I know some of you are like, this is a lot of work for just a little reward, but I thoroughly enjoy making stuff. Like, I know I could go out and buy something that gives like the same effect, I guess. But like, I love making things. I love using what I have at home. So if I can make it, I will. Just like flying. If I can drive to it, I will. This is a little tedious, but that's okay. I enjoy doing it. Okay, so I made a few different ones. So I made a like beige and gold, and then I made a purple with some like iridescent, a green and pink, the orange and red that you saw me first make, and then blue on blue, and then teal with teal ribbon. And so the thought is I'm going to trim all these down. Let's see. So then the thought is to fold them back and forth on one another, like so. And then I'll put glue in between each of them, and then it's this nice little like ribbon candy. I think that's really cute. Beep, 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 beep. Okay, I think we're gonna stop here, and I'm gonna play around with this to see what works best. Okay, be back. We're back for some cruise craft time. We're going to we'll start the garland that we made all of the pieces for together. But I pulled out all of the garland. I pulled out some of these pom-poms. And then I also pulled out some of these beads that I've made for other things that I work on. But I made these out of polymer clay. So I have a couple of beads here that I'm gonna use, and I've got some like pre-made beads here as well if I wanted to use them. Oh, I have some really pretty sparkly ones that would make like snowballs. I'll show you. Sorry about Maud snoring. But look at these little ones. They're like covered in little glitter thingies. I don't know the word, but they kind of look like snowballs. So what I'm going to do is lay out, I want to make 2 garlands. So I'm going to lay out the pattern of the garlands and then I'll put them together. So I'll show you what I mean. So this is all the garland that we're working with. These are the beads that we're working with. So I'm going to like line these up. I swore I made another one of these. I must have lost it between now and when I made them. Anyways, that's fine. But I'm going to lay these out in the order that I will string them up. So let's do that together. To string this together, I'm using embroidery floss, this threader. If you've not used the threader before and you do embroidery, these are game changers. And then a needle. Also, I don't know if I'm going to be able to use these beads because the hole is really small, which is a bummer, but we're going to try anyways. What you do is you stick the threader through the eye of the needle, and then you take your thread. Oh, this floss is not great floss. You take and you then feed it through. And you have a threaded needle. And I'm just putting these back and forth on itself. I'm going to do the shiny side up. And then I'm gonna try to poke this needle through it all. Oh God, this is harder than I thought. Just some brute force is all it takes. And then I'm just gonna space these out to be, and then it's like little ribbon candies. So we keep losing the remote, so I rubber band him to Keanu Reeves from John Wick. So he's John Wick. We don't even lose him yet, so it's working. But I just finished doing the first order of the garland, and I love the way that it's coming out. However, it's really short, so I think it's just going to be one garland. So I'm going to continue on with adding them on. It's so different, so cute. I love it. Okay, let's keep moving. We finished. Look at this garland. I added the tassels, and it did take all of it to make one, but this is the garland, and it'll hang across. Let me back up. It'll hang across the door like that. I think it's really precious and a little different. I love the pinwheels. I think those came out really well. And I think it is Christmassy, but it could also be like birthday or any sort of celebration, so I can definitely reuse this. But I love it so much. This was a lot of fun to do. It took a lot more brute force than I thought, getting the needle through like the glue bits. But yeah, adorable, fun. Welcome back to another cruise craft. Oh, I need to move my leg. My hip's getting old. So this next one is very easy, very simple, but I found these beads while thrifting or at an antique shop, and they look like little gumdrops to me. So I want to make mini garland for my mini Christmas tree that I'm going to bring. This is my mini Christmas tree. Let me pull it out. This is my mini Christmas tree. I have a little star on the top that changes colors. Look how cute. But I'm gonna bring this on the cruise so we have a little Christmas decoration, because we are going for the Very Merrytime, or the, yeah, Very Merrytime cruise. So I'm just pulling these down so I can get an idea of how long I want the garland to be as I'm making it. But this is the tree. It's not the nicest tree, it's a little sad, but it'll get the job done. So I'm going to set this up, and then I'm going to start making the garland. I think I'm just going to do 2 colors and just keep going. But this should be an easy one to knock out. These are the beads. They're just little, oh God. They're just little baby gumdrops. And I'm just going to use fishing line. And I do have these threaders, but I don't think I'm going to need them, but we'll hold those just in case. But we're gonna just make some garlands. Let's see. cute this is. I like that they kind of look like lights, but not, because I'm not going to bring any lights for the tree. But I think this came out really well. It's so sweet. Just little garlands. Okay, cruise craft number 3, done, in the books. I have one more, I think. We'll find out. No, I have 2 more, at least 2 more, I should say. Okay, we'll come back with number 3 or 4 or whatever number we're on. Cruise craft time. This one is a really simple one, or not simple, maybe. It is quick and easy. Maybe not easy. It is a quick one. It shouldn't be overly complicated. But basically what I'm doing is hemming this Castaway Cay shirt. I'm making it a crop top. I bought this on my last Disney cruise and I want to take it on this one, even though we're not going to Castaway Cay. But what I'm going to do is take one of my favorite shirts, or like crops shirts, like I love the length of, and I'm going to lay it on top and cut about an inch further down from this shirt. And then I will iron it down. First I'll serge the edge and then iron it down and then sew it down. Easy peasy. So let's go ahead and do that. First we need to cut the shirt. Let me move my sewing machine out of the way. So here is the Castaway Cay shirt. Here is my derpy shirt. I'm just lining it up. I'm not being too precious about this. I'm just lining it up as best as I can in this small little area. I should use the floor, but that would make too much sense. So now what I'm gonna do is probably cut about an inch below across. Side looks a little higher. Okay, let's go for broke. Easy peasy. So now I'm going to run this shirt through the serger just to clean this hem and keep it from rolling up. Serger on. Does anyone else sew with their shoe off? I cannot sew for the life of me with a shoe on. Right now I have like slippers on, not a shoe, but my house shoes. And I cannot sew if I have something on my foot. Like I have to sew barefoot. So what I'm gonna do is just line this up on the edge here and send her through. I'm gonna try not to pull it because I don't want it to get super wonky. So I'm just going to like let it feed itself through. We're all done. If you don't have a serger, you can do a zigzag stitch and achieve like the same purpose, but sergers just make everything a little easier. So now what we're going to do is take this and fold it down and iron it down. I will pin it just because I don't want this to get a little wonky. So moving to the ironing board. I've already loaded the sewing machine and bobbin with some orange thread. It's not perfect, but it'll do. No one's going to pay attention to it. So I'm going to just go ahead and start sewing. I'm going to do 2 lines around. So let's get started. again, shoe comes off. And we're ready to rock. So we did the first pass, so now I'm going to do it again on the topmost part. And I'll use this line as a guide. Okay, we'll give it, this is what the front side looks like. This is what the back side looks like. I don't love this little flap, but that's okay. I could have started sewing from there, but I didn't. I wanted it to be straight on the outside, so I used that as a guide. But I'll give this one last press, and then we'll call it DONE. And this is the final product. It might be a little wonky. The front is a little longer than the back, but don't tell anybody. But I love it. I love Mount Rushmore. I think it's so cute. Okay, we'll call this one done. Cruise crafts. It's time for another cruise craft. This one is, I can repurpose this for the holidays too, and I'm really excited about. So earlier we saw these like felt squares, and they didn't work for what I wanted them to, but now I'm going to make classic paper chain garland with them. I think that'll come out well, and just do a bunch of little loops. This one is really quick and easy, but I figured I would tell you everything that I'm making for this cruise. But so what I'm going to do is cut these into strips, probably like, I'll mess around with it. I'm not sure just yet, either in thirds or in fourths. And then I have my, what is this called? Cutting thing. I cannot remember what it's called. Cutting board? Cutting slicer? Paper cutter. My paper cutter. I'm hoping that'll work with that. If not, I'll just use regular scissors. And then I have my big stapler. I can't find my normal stapler, but this one is for like books, and I used to make zines a lot. So I have this stapler, but I don't know where my stapler is. So we're gonna go ahead and start measuring out the felt squares, cut them into strips, and then just have a loop frenzy. I did organize these in like a color pattern. Oh, sorry it's so dark in here. It is literally like 2:30 in the afternoon, and it feels like it's 6 o'clock at night. But it's so dark and overcast here. I hate winters in Chicago. I hate them so much. I don't know why I've lived here for so long, but winter is something that I will never get used to. Okay, rant over. But this is the order of the colors that I'll do, and we'll see how long it is to see how many times I'll repeat the colors. But I'm gonna watch some YouTube. I've recently came across this YouTuber that's called Blog with Naomi, and she just makes wonderful vlogs. Right now she's doing, well, right now I'm watching her solo trip to Walt Disney World, and she's there for like 10 or 11 days, and she's vlogging every day. And it's just so good. If you are looking for someone to like hyper fixate on, she's the one. I found her searching for like pack with me videos, and then I just started watching her vlogs. They're great. But yeah, let's start cutting these into strips and then start stapling them together. Yay. So I think what we're gonna do is 3 little squares, size big. So I'll line it up and then I'll move it over 3 squares. And we'll see if this cuts it. Beautiful. So I'm just gonna go through and do 1 of each color for now. So line it up, move it over 3 squares. Oh, no. Oh, there we go. Line it up, move it over 3 squares. And so I'm just gonna continue down this path. them all in little strippies. Ta-da! And so now what I'm going to do is just roll it. And then, oh no, it's too small to staple. Oh no. What do I do? Okay, we'll come back to this. I need to figure out how to put these together. Also, I think I need to make them smaller because it's not gonna fit on the inside. What did I do? Okay, let me problem solve and I'll be back. Troubleshoot, oh wait, hold on. Troubleshooting has been done. So I cut off a little bit more, another square's worth more, and I did find my stapler. This is my Office Space red stapler, and I was able to start doing this. So I'm going to sit here, watch Blog with Naomi, or Blog by Naomi, Blog with Naomi, and just make some paper chain, but felt. I'm excited for this. Okay, let's do it. All right, I finished the first pile of them. I'm a terrible judge of like how much it's gonna take to make these garlands, because that first garland I did the same thing with. So I'm going to take this leftover and make 2 more sets and then repeat the pattern again. And so I should have, you know, a little bit of a garland, and I'm thinking that I'll put this around the table that the tree is going to sit on. I'm just going to use the like little seat table that's in the room, or the little ottoman, and just put this around there and let it just droop. I think that'll be really, really cute. Okay, or I guess I can put it across the top of the mirror, maybe. I don't know, we'll do something with it. It's just been really fun to make, and then I'll use it at home for something. Who knows, I'll find something to use it for. But I like it, it's so cute, so tiny. I don't know how I'm gonna pack this so it doesn't get smushed, but that's a problem for a different Ashley. All right, I will check back in once I'm done. And just like that, we've finished. It's not too long. It's probably the same length as the other garland we made. I really should have called this video how many different garlands can we make, because this is garland number 3, and I'm bringing 2 more from my previous cruise. So it's just gonna be full of garland. They're just an easy way to add some color, but I figured we'll add this around where the Christmas tree is going to be seated on the little seat table or stool. If not, it can go across the mirror in the like common area, living room, whatever. But it's cute. I love how vibrant the colors are. I don't know if you can tell in this very dark, gloomy Chicago weather. I also don't have many lights on in the house, so that could be part of it too. But who needs lights? But garland. Okay, we're done. Yay. I think that's the last one. No, I have one more, and it's our pixie dusting. So stay tuned for that. It'll be a couple of days for me, but like a mere 4 seconds for you. Welcome to the last cruise craft of 2025 for Very Merrytime sailing aboard the Disney Dream. What a mouthful. We've made it to the end. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for being here. I'm so glad that you stuck around and made all of these garlands with me. So many garlands. But this last one has to do with our pixie dusting. So if you're not familiar, pixie dusting is essentially random acts of kindness where you just give someone a little something, whether that's friendship bracelets or bags of stickers or little 3D printed things. I see a lot like magnets and coasters and pins and things of that nature. One time my friend received a pair of homemade Maleficent ears for her birthday, which was really cute. But on the cruise, pixie dusting typically happens in people's fish extenders. Fish extenders, if you're not familiar, are specific to Disney Cruise Line. It is essentially orchestrated gift giving, kind of like a Secret Santa, if you will. So essentially what happens is before your cruise, you find your Facebook group online for your sailing dates. Someone has typically put together a fish extender group and organizes all of it. So you just submit your name, how many people are in your party, and you decide which fish extender group you want to be a part of. So there's like ornaments and kids and random ones. There's all different kinds. It's like a whole nother world. But you sign up for a fish extender group and you're randomly selected to be put in a group with 3 to 4 other families. And then you buy gifts with them and then you trade out those gifts and leave them in people's fish extenders. And the fish extenders themselves are typically hanging things. So a lot of them are usually like either bags or file folder organizers, like mail organizers. I'll post a picture of what one looks like. Last year we did, I found this vintage Mickey hanging over door organizer that had a bunch of little pockets in it, which worked really well for a pixie dusting, which were little notebooks. This year I'm using a stocking, and I'm using the Tigger stocking here. And so what I'm going to do, if you haven't seen this, this is a Tigger Advent Calendar stocking that I purchased for this specifically. I found it on eBay. It's really cute. Essentially what you do is you just move the star along. It does have a voice box in it, and Tigger says something every time you move it. It's just currently off. But what I did is I purchased a bunch of little miniature candy canes, and I was going to put them in the little holes for the days that are empty. So I'll just like tuck them in. I can't do it one-handed, but I'll tuck them in. But what I wanted to do for this specifically is create little tags for them that say Merry Cruisin' on the back and then our room number, and then just a little sticker on the front. And then I'm going to tie it on with ribbon. I'm going to go get my curly Q ribbon so it looks a little cuter. But essentially I've cut out these little paper squares. I have a bunch of stickers. So I have these Minnie and Mickey Snowball stickers, these Disney Cruise Line stickers, and I'll put them on here kind of like this, which you've seen I've already done. And then I'll take the hole punch a hole in it, tie on the ribbon, put it in the little holder. So it's a really simple one. So I'm going to go ahead and get started this. First, I'm going to go get my curly Q ribbon. And then I'll set up a time lapse and go through this, and then we'll show you the final product. Okay, yay, I'm excited. I love this. Cruise craft time. This is it. We did it. Look how simple and cute this is. I just love this so much. And then on the back, I just wrote Merry Cruisin' and then our room number. But they'll all just like live in these pockets. I don't think I'll fill it up completely. I'll just put in random so it's not overwhelming. And then I'll carry around some to give to other doors that we see that I like. But I'm going to continue to finish these up off camera. But I just wanted to show you the idea. I did find my curly Q ribbon and I love that much better. Like I think it just like adds a little bit of a flair. But I will be decorating the door on our embarkation day vlog, so stay tuned for that. That's not the next vlog, that's in 4 vlogs. Essentially what's coming up next, if you're interested, we have a outfit planning for the cruise, and then a pack with me for the cruise, and then the cruise vlogs begin, the vacation vlogs begin. And so on the first day, on embarkation day, is when we'll decorate our door. So you can see all of these things that we've made in real life on our door in practice. So we'll decorate the door, we'll put up the Christmas tree and hang the garlands. It'll be really cool. And then I will do my best to show you as many doors as possible that I think are really cool on the ship, just to give you a better idea of like what door decorating looks like if you're not interested in it. If you're going on a cruise soon, I highly recommend you participate in it if that's your kind of thing. You can just buy magnets, like that's super simple, easy to do, and a great way to be a part of it. You can go all out. Some people, I will show you, there's going to be some people that go ham on door decorations, especially for the holidays. I can't wait to show you all. But this is everything that I've made for this cruise. I love how cruising has brought this like crafting spark into my life. Like I love crafting. I craft all the time. But it's just interesting that I would never have associated crafting with cruising, but here we are. We've done it. But yeah, so those are the next couple of vlogs coming up. We've got planning and packing and then the cruise vlog. So if you're interested, please consider subscribing. I would love to have you. I'm hoping that this will be a fun little journey, and if you're excited to be here, I'm excited to have you. But yeah, other than that, I hope you get to do some crafting in the near future, and I hope that you enjoy your cruise or your next vacation. All right, have a great day. Bye, friends.